Welcome to the Sports Hangover. I'm Michael Benatar, joined alongside J DAWG.
Mike, it's good to see you. I'm glad we're doing the show now. The WNBA draft is in an hour, so we'll clear this out, and we'll get to see Caitlin Clark get drafted.
Hey, hot take from our friend in our sports thread. He hates the fits. He says, get out of here. I'm not watching anything until these fits are over.
Well, he doesn't just hate, don't say that he hates WNBA fits. He hates Gen Z is what he hates. He hates their fits. And so that could become a Caleb Williams discussion. But we're going to talk about Caleb today. The NFL draft is coming. That draft we're really into. We're going to do a little Masters recap, maybe a little NBA playoff preview. I got some stories for you today.
Where do you want to start, Jeremy? We sat and watched the Masters for a few hours, had some wings, and you had a little wrap instead of wings for some reason.
Thanks for mentioning that. That's true. We went out to a bar on Saturday. Maybe Mike's last appearance at a bar until he becomes a father, possibly.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, literally any day. Could be right now during the show. Could be whenever, next week. We don't know. But
I would love to do the last 20 minutes by myself. You know, I'll just take over and go through the rundown. So the Masters, listen, we had a boring machine win the Masters. He's Scottie Scheffler. He's really good. Just happens to be too good and very boring. And I was concerned on Saturday during round 3 with you, as he was kind of in the lead, but like not pulling away at all. I was like, This dude's gonna run away on Sunday. We can't have him in the lead at all right now. And then of course he enters Sunday with the lead after Saturday, and he really played so solid. He hit 2 iron shots from the fairway that almost went in the hole. Both of them almost went in the hole. He only had 18 approach shots. 2 of them nearly went in the hole. He was like on fire, and it does create like a boring Masters Sunday when a guy like that is just dominating and no action anywhere else.
I heard an interview with him. I think it was maybe post winning the Masters, but it was kind of about how he grew up playing sports and about how his thought process was like he wasn't ultra competitive. He played. He didn't do all this like. He just kind of like enjoyed the sport instead of going all out and like being on a travel team and doing all this stuff. And I like that idea. It's just like go out, have fun, enjoy it. You don't have to be on travel teams. You don't have to do all this stuff and still be the best. You can still be good. You just have to put the time and effort into it. And I kind of liked it because I'm about to have a kid. I'm like, how do I push him into sports? Just have fun.
I think he's really discounting how much pressure he put on himself to get to this level of the best golfer in the world. He's had the same golf coach since he was 6 years old, and this guy teaches PGA Tour winners. So as a 6-year-old, he showed so much ability where this coach said, you're the next guy. You're going to be amazing for us. And he's always had this ability. Yeah. I think Scottie, I mean, he's not conventional. He has terrible footwork. I know you don't know how the mechanics of the golf swing work.
But a close-up of
his feet are dancing.
Yeah.
They're dancing throughout the golf shot, like Peyton Manning in the huddle, like on his tippy toes, like jumping around. That's what Scottie's doing in the golf swing. You want to make a bet, is what I understand. You want to make a bet that he's going to win all 4 majors this year.
Yeah, the Scottie Slam. Yeah, the Scottie Grand Slam. He wins all the majors this year. I think it's like plus 8,000, so 80 to 1 or something like that. Sounds great. But you were telling me it's probably no shot because no one really has done it. Maybe back in the 70s, maybe somebody did.
Maybe Jack Nicklaus did it. Maybe. Probably something he did. But he competed against like 12 good golfers, and nowadays there's like hundreds of good golfers in every tournament. It's a worldwide sport in a different way. So I don't love the bet. Tiger never won 4 in 1 calendar year. I was just telling you the Tiger Slam is when you win 4 in a row, but it could span multiple years. So I think Tiger won like 2 one year, the first 2 the next year.
That kind of counts.
I don't think Scottie's on that level.
But it seems like it counts. Like if you win 4 in a row, whether it be a calendar year or not, I feel like that counts for sure.
Well, it's called the Tiger Slam, not the Grand Slam.
Well, it's going to be called the Scottie Grand Slam soon.
Well, it's probably not going to happen because he's having a child. So take us inside the mindset, Mike. He's about to have a child. He raced home from Augusta to have his baby. You really think he's going to come out in 3 weeks after this baby comes and he's going to be rearing to go in the next major? Do you think you're going to be – the question I'm asking is, are you going to be in top athletic form 3 weeks after your first son is born?
Listen, Jeremy, we as men do not give birth, and that is what we're fortunate with, and unfortunately our wives have to give birth. Yes. They will not be in tip-top shape. I imagine he might be tired, he might be drained. I don't know how it's going to feel. I mean, I haven't had a kid yet. I don't know if he had his kid yet.
He might want out of the house for a week to go sleep in a hotel and get good sleep and play golf. He might welcome that. So maybe you're onto something. I just think there's no way he wins all 4. But I did tell you he will be the favorite, the betting favorite in all 4, that doesn't happen much all year.
Can we talk? There's 2 other things I want to talk about Masters. One, I don't know what the guy's name was. I think he was maybe top 4, but his caddy was sick, and he got a local caddy from the Masters to be his caddy, and he played better than ever. And I don't know who the guy was, But I kind of like that idea of taking somebody that like knows the course so well, and he comes to caddy for you, and all of a sudden you're like better than you've ever played before. Do you fire your caddy that's like unfortunately ill and not able to join you, and just take this guy with you? What do you do?
It may have been Tommy Fleetwood. I'm not exactly sure who that was who had the sick caddy. The local caddy is a great rule because no one knows the course like the guy who spends every day there. And those guys don't work 40 hours a week. They're doing 2 rounds every day. So they do a morning and an afternoon, probably 6 or 7 days a week as caddies. Wow. They are mules. They are modern mules, unfortunately. They sign up for it. They're not slaves. But they sign up for it. Although at Augusta, they wear those white jumpsuits. It is a little borderline, right?
Well, it gets a little, probably like a lot of swamp ass in there for sure, because it's probably hot. Pretty hot down there.
Not hot in April. We had some rain this week, but it will get hot. The course was amazing. I like the idea of the local caddy. You, Mike, you have never played such an elite golf course where you have your own caddy responsible for your bag. And let me tell you, just as an amateur like me and you, who I might shoot in the 80s, you might shoot 120 or so. When you're walking down the fairway, playing a golf hole without your clubs, and you're like not responsible for them, and you're just walking, taking a stroll in the park, it's an unbelievable elite experience that you can't do often enough. Like anytime you get the offer and you can afford a caddy, always grab it. 1, it's fun. 2, you're not doing as much work. And 3, they actually help you. They can read your putts. They tell you exactly where to putt it. Some of my best rounds of my life are when I've had a caddy because they're helping me read the greens, and I make more putts, even long putts. And so always get the local caddy if you can.
I'd like to pitch to my former fantasy football league. That should be the punishment instead of going and sitting at a Buffalo Wild Wings for 24 hours or a Waffle House. They should just be your caddy for, like 3-4 rounds of golf throughout the year. Just like call you up, be like, hey, I need a caddy today.
Wait, that's a lot of rounds. Is 1 round of carrying your bags for 5 hours? Especially you. I'm going left side, right side, left side, right side if it's you. So there's a lot of steps involved.
I don't know, but I think that would be a better punishment, because at least it'd be fun. It'd be fun for everybody because it's like a group activity instead of sitting alone at Waffle House. But pitch it to the league that I'm no longer a part of because I was kicked out.
Well, okay. Well, they don't listen to the show, definitely. So I'll pitch
definitely
it
don't listen
in the off season. By the way, last week on the show, I gave you Bryson DeChambeau as maybe a guy who's going to win the Masters because of the eclipse, and he's a science guy, and he was staring at it for a long time last Monday, right before the show, and he almost did. He was right there.
He was close.
Kind of fell off on Saturday. Didn't get it done on Sunday, but he was right there.
Do you want to mention his clubs? I thought that was super interesting what he did with his clubs. Do you want to?
Yeah, you love this story, right?
I love it. Well, he 3D printed his new clubs, and they were all the same size, and the face was shaped the way he liked it instead of the way like all the golf clubs are shaped. I liked it because like I'm bad at golf, and I can hit like my 7-iron okay, and other than that there's nothing else I can hit. I can't even drive the ball properly. I can putt because it's obviously a little bit slower. I don't have to whip it behind my head, but I like this idea of like 3D putting, 3D printing them all, and they're all the same length. And it looked weird as you watched them. You saw his like arms straight putting and hitting the ball, but I liked it because he's like changing the way you can think about it instead of just going with like, oh yeah, that's my golf club, I got to play with it.
Bryson believes that your golf swing should be exactly the same every time. And I was telling you, like, your wedge and your driver are much different lengths. And so you naturally have to make a different motion. The driver has to be farther away. The wedge has to be closer. Bryson wants to scientifically make every golf swing exactly the same. I've worked with Bryson. I know him well. I have a picture.
Oh, you
right
got a
here.
photo? Just a little photo of you two?
Me and this is always here, not just for the pod, but that's me and Bryson here. Just very appropriate. Anyone we talk about, I can just pull up a photo.
Yeah, just pull up a photo
at this point, Mike. But what he does is he's actually built his golf swing. I didn't know we were going down this road. He's built his golf swing in a way where his lead arm, his left arm, swings to as far as it can go. Whatever that means with the club, like it can't twist anymore, and he locks his hand in, and he reaches that point every time, and that is science for him, that he does the exact same thing with his arms every single golf swing. And so he's applying the idea of replicating the same swing, the same length club, and you're going to get the same result, just different yardages every time, and it makes him a more perfect golfer. Now, all that is to say, he was spraying the ball with these irons around Augusta National this weekend. Off the tee, he was doing okay. He missed some fairways, but his irons were the worst worst part of his game all weekend. Now, he just got these clubs in play officially last Monday, the day we recorded. They were just approved by the USGA the same day. So let's give him a little time. Maybe he gets a few weeks of practice while Scottie's out being a dad. And then in the next major, maybe Bryson has more of an advantage.
So his driver was the same length that his putter and irons. They were all the same length.
And he's known for distance. He's known for maximizing distance. He put on like 40 pounds of muscle in 2020 during COVID to hit the ball longer. He did hit the ball longer, but he wasn't healthy. He was having a lot of stomach issues, as you can imagine.
He's got to eat a lot to get all that weight.
There's pictures of him this week and versus 4 years ago at the Masters, and it looks like a bloated AI version of Bryson.
Does the PGA test for steroids?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do.
They test for all kinds of drugs, and Dustin Johnson may have been suspended for drugs one time, but he claimed it was stiff back from jet skiing that caused him to miss 6 months of professional golf.
Okay.
So we'll leave that right there. NBA's coming. NBA playoffs are coming.
NBA.
Like I've been watching NBA. As you know, I'm a great gift giver.
Hold on.
NBA news.
Soundboard is up. I'm a great gift giver. Recently gave our friends Lakers tickets and may have gone along to see two NBA playoff teams, the Nuggets and the Lakers, in person. And it really got me thinking where I'm an NBA fan, but only the Western Conference. So this is our NBA playoff preview, but we are doing a West Coast bias. We are bringing our California bias, and we're saying East Coast, Eastern Conference, we'll see you in the finals. We'll see you in June. This isn't about you. You're not exciting. You don't score enough points. And I didn't see you in person, so we're not going to talk about you.
We talk basketball Christmas Day and the day before the playoffs, basically.
And April 15th, right?
Yeah.
So the playoffs start this week, the in-season tournament. The Lakers are in it. So what I have for you, Mike, are 10 big stars in the NBA's Western Conference ranked.
I hope I know who they are.
From 10 to 1. If you don't know any, let me know. Ranked from 10 to 1 on who's most entertaining for the NBA playoffs. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 10, this is the least entertaining team and the least entertaining star. It's the Sacramento Kings. They have to play the Golden State Warriors in their play-in game, so they'll probably lose. Their star is De'Aaron Fox. Do you know De'Aaron Fox?
I know Fox. I will say Sacramento's having really time of their life right now. They have a new baseball team. Their
rental team for only
the
a few
rental
years.
team. I did see the MLB put a trademark on the Sacramento A's. So they might stay. We don't know. There might be a fight between the A's and the Oakland or whatever.
So you're saying that could help their Kings playoff chances? I'm not saying that.
I just feel like it's a vibe for the city, and I'm happy for the city of Sacramento. It is our state capital out here in California, if you do not know that. So I'm excited for them. I like Fox. He's a young guy, right? That he wants to go play.
He's young. He scores a lot of points. He's the worst star in the Western Conference. That's why we're starting with
I love it.
You're supporting Sacramento. I just have to say, the people in Sacramento, do they know that they're paying the same state income tax as us, but they're miles and hours away from the ocean? Are they aware?
I don't
They live
know.
inland California, but they have to pay this. Like, what are you guys doing?
I don't know what they're doing, but they do have pretty good weather out there, too. They're pretty close to Napa. They can get to
Very
Napa.
hot in the summer. Apparently, they might not be able to play these games until later at night because it's so hot for baseball at night.
Oh, didn't know that. Oh, they have an outdoor
During the
stadium.
day.
That makes
During the
sense.
day, it's outdoors.
Yeah.
So anyway, sorry, Sacramento. I gave you a few cheap shots there, but you're the worst team in the West. Number 9, Anthony Edwards has become a spark plug for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't know much about him, but he's a spark plug, and he's the T-Wolf star. They are one of the highest seeds.
The only thing I know about Anthony Edwards is that I've seen a lot of videos of him lowering his voice because he naturally has a high voice. That's the only thing I know about him.
Really?
Like he talks like at a higher pitch, and when he's in interviews, he's like, "Hey, I'm Anthony Edwards." I think that's the guy I'm thinking about. I'm not sure if I'm thinking
of Tyrese Halliburton. Sorry to mention an East Coast player on the
even know
Indiana
who that
Pacers.
is.
He has two different voices apparently, and he
Really?
alternates between them, like a Kermit the Frog Mahomes voice and a regular voice.
Well, you think Mahomes would have tried to mask it a little bit, but he just like leaned into that he has a squeaky Kermit the Frog voice for Mahomes.
We found out how good he is at throwing footballs, and we don't care what he
It doesn't
sounds
matter.
like.
Yeah, if you're
Doesn't
good,
matter.
your voice does not matter at all.
Exactly. Number 8 on my list of stars in the West. The Clippers had a lot of stars to pick from, but I went with the OG, Kawhi Leonard. He's still their biggest star. He's scoring their most points. Paul George is there. James Harden is there. So they have 3 stars.
Yes.
They're not very exciting, honestly, and that's why Kawhi's lower on the list.
Stars.
He's number 8 on the list of 10. They're all all-stars. They're just not exciting, and they're not very young anymore, by the way.
Yeah. Old guys. Do you think that sometimes you want that drama off court? You want somebody doing things outside of it? And those 3 do not want to say anything anywhere. Paul George, Kawhi, James Harden. They're not doing anything outside the field. They're not doing anything on podcasts. They're not doing anything anywhere. I need some more excitement from them. This is a LA team that we know nothing about. We know more about the fifth guy on the Lakers the bench player, than we do anything on the Clippers. I feel bad for the Clippers. They are like the stepchild of the basketball team out here in LA. I need more off-field excitement. So that one, it's okay. Kawhi's great, but I want more excitement. I want more
So
like off-court
8
stuff.
out of 10 is about where you'd put them. Also,
Yeah,
is what you're saying.
Feels about right. Yeah.
Well, the Clippers are coming over here to the west side of LA next year, a new arena right down the road from me. So
Not
maybe
the
they
west
won't be
side.
the stepchild anymore.
They're not the West Side. They're mid-city. They're mid-city.
Have this debate. The
Once
rest
you
of our
drive,
lives.
you'll know.
I can't drive. Number 7 on the list of top 10 stars. Do you know who Shea Gildjus-Alexander is?
I do, only because I listen to Bill Simmons. I could not point that man out in a lineup if I had to, but I know of him because I listen to Bill Simmons talk about him. Sounds like he's a great player. Sounds like he's the future of the NBA. And that is all I know, and I regurgitated from what I heard.
This man can score, Mike. He can drive the hoop. He has brought the Thunder, who we don't know many players on the Thunder. They're the number 1 seed in the West.
Yeah.
They finished ahead of the Nuggets, which is impressive. Shea Gildjus-Alexander averaged 30 points per game this year, one of the best in the league. So the Thunder are going to be dangerous in the playoffs. He's not the flashiest. We're going to get to 6 more, but he is exciting in a way.
I think they go by is it SGA, right? Shane Gillis-Alexander, SGA. I think
So
that's
you know
like
a little bit about him.
yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I listen to podcast. I listen to sports podcasts. So yeah.
You're keeping up so far. You don't know about this one. I know you know his name, but you don't know how good he was this year. That's right. We're going to New Orleans for Zion Williamson at number 6. Did you know, Mike? Did you know this man averaged 23 points per game, slimmed down, and has the Pelicans hosting the Lakers in the end season tournament? The Lakers have to fly all the way to New Orleans because Zion had such a good year.
I did not know he was that good. It seems like those threats from all the hookers or whatever he was dealing with, supposedly,
that was a story.
did not affect him at all. He lost a little weight, so that's good. Good for him. It's hard to lose weight, but hey. There's a lot of wonder drugs out there now, and that Ozempic, I mean, if he's on it, it's probably working great for him.
I don't know, but he would lose the muscle that he kind of needs some muscle to play in the NBA, right? You can't risk Ozempic as a professional athlete.
I think if you needed to slim down pretty quick, I think it'd be good. As long as I think as you're working out, I think you're retaining some of the muscle. I'm the reverse. I'm bulking.
You're doing something.
I'm getting up there.
By the way, so the Pelicans host the Lakers on Tuesday night, the day after we record this podcast, and one of the first matchups, the 7 and the 8 seed. Mutual friend, I just got to shout him out. He wants the Lakers to do well in the playoffs, but he has this idea where the Lakers should not travel LeBron to New Orleans. They should sit LeBron, intentionally lose to the Pelicans, so then they have to play again on Friday, but he wants them to have a home game on Friday because then they'll host the winner of the Kings-Warriors game, probably Steph Curry, as we just went through, and the Warriors. Yeah. So that means the Lakers would have to beat the Warriors, who they rarely beat. They lose more often than not. They would have to beat them this Friday night just to get into the top 8 seeds of the NBA playoffs. How silly is that take?
That is very silly. Also, I don't know if the Lakers are going to do well. I saw last night a report Anthony Davis went into the back room for another back injury. He always has back injuries.
Just back spasms. But yeah, they play soon. It's Tuesday night. The Lakers, we've gone over this. They can't draft Bronny because they don't have a good enough team as it is without him. They can't use draft resources on him. And this is why. They're flying to New Orleans when Zion just stays at home and eats however many meals he wants that day as the Lakers come to him. All right, we got 5 more stars, 5 more teams to run through. Number 5, the Phoenix Suns are led by Kevin Durant. Durant used to be higher on this list. The best I can do is number 5 this year. The Suns actually have been falling off. They are not favored to advance past the first round of the playoffs.
Another city that is, Phoenix. Sorry, we talked about Phoenix. I was thinking we were talking about Utah here for a second, but Phoenix
Phoenix is going to lose a team to Utah, right?
Yeah, they're losing a team, so maybe not as good. I will say I am disappointed with Kevin Durant. I felt like there was always this persona and vibe that he was giving off, like he is the best player and he will be the best player. But I always felt like he kind of cheaped out a little. I never thought about it really, when he went to the Warriors or when he was playing at OKC and technically had a big 3 there when he had James Harden and Russell Westbrook. But I think he lately kind of is more. I don't know if he's there for me. I don't know if that caliber is holding up as much, and he's getting older too. But felt like he never reached that peak. Like I wanted him to be a bigger star, and he just, again, not doing enough stuff off court. He keeps to himself, has burner accounts on Twitter and comments, but nothing else. Like, I don't know. It's something, I want bigger stars. The stars are not big enough for me.
Well, he could never do it himself, Mike. He
No.
always asked for help. He's always like, hey, can you guys come over and help me win a championship over here? Hey, can you guys come over to the West and help me? Like, he would never just take the ball and go score like a man in the NBA does. He always needed assistance. And for that, he'll always be docked. Yes, he's a little bit boring, but he's still on like the Paris Olympics roster.
Yeah.
Like, he still might be one of the best players to go over there this summer. He's just not that exciting, and that's why he's only number 5. The Suns, we're not putting money on the Suns.
Do you think at some point when you earn enough money, your drive disappears? Like for Kevin Durant, he has a shoe deal. He's got the Nike shoes, which are, some of them are pretty good. Most of them are not as good. But once you reach a certain status, like Jeremy, like for instance, if your job started paying you $100 million a year, after that first like $100 million paycheck, you might be like, do I really care anymore? Like, I'm good. Like, what do I need to do? I feel like he lost his drive. He doesn't have that anymore.
That's probably true for me and that amount of money, Mike. But Kevin Durant is an internet troll. He loves to call people out online. He loves to have these burner accounts to comment on things. So I feel like no amount of money will ever make him not be a bitch online. And so that's just going to continue throughout this playoffs, it seems.
All right, so we're not,
number 4, this is an exciting team.
We're not betting
into
on
some teams.
The Suns at all? We're not putting money on the Suns?
No money on the Suns. These next 4 teams, you could conceivably put money on, except one's the Lakers, so maybe not. Okay, number 4. Luka had such a great year for the Mavs. Kyrie Irving is there, and we never talk about him. Thank God that anti-Semite is in the NBA playoffs. But Luka is the one we care about. Luka averaged 34 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists a game this whole season. He did that over the course of the season, almost average a triple-double, which only Jokic can actually average. And so Luka's amazing. He's still getting better. He plays in Dallas. Like, we don't watch him. We don't talk about him. In the playoffs, must watch. The Mavs might go on a run because of their number 1 star.
I'm excited about NBA playoffs. Like, I think it's fun. It's more interesting. People are into it. I don't know much about the Mavs at all, but I do like Mark Cuban, so I'm gonna be committed. I am gonna make some bets after this show to keep myself in it. So give me some.
I like that. Well, Luka's a good one with Mark Cuban. Number 3, I think this team has a little juice in them. It's the Golden State Warriors coming in as the 10 seed. If the playoffs, this was a few years ago, the 10 seed doesn't sniff the playoffs. They're out of it, but they get to work through this play-in game. They go to Sacramento. They're going to win that game. Then it sounds like they'll probably go play the Lakers or the Pelicans. They'll probably win that game. Steph gets hot anywhere. He's going to make shots. I think the Warriors do advance past the end-season tournament into the 8. I'm not going to say they're going to beat like the 1 or 2 seed. That seems really hard. I think they're going to win a few games here early on.
Well, I remember a few years ago, Sacramento was like pretty good, and they were holding Golden State. I think it went to like Game 7 with Golden State. I don't know if Golden State is a shoe-in for moving past.
They're not. They lost more games than anyone in the Western Finals and the Western playoffs this whole year.
The West is pretty tough, right? Even like the bottom seed, the play-in team, is like better than probably like 3 or 4 of the guys in the playoffs on the East.
That's normally how it is. The East is better this year. The Houston Rockets gave the Warriors a little tug. They fell back. So the Warriors were never in danger really of not making the playoffs. But you're right. In the East, they would be higher. So Steph was my number 3 most exciting player there. Number 2, it's LeBron and the Lakers. Sorry he's not number 1. I'm not saying bet on the Lakers. I know people think they should lose on purpose.
He might only play one game.
I know they're not very good. They might only play 1 game. No, I think it's a minimum of 2 because they are the 8th seed. So it's a minimum of 2. They might
if
play.
He doesn't play.
By the time we record next week, they might not. Right? They might not be in the playoffs anymore. I think the Lakers are still exciting. LeBron still brings the juice. He's still scoring. I told you I went in person, and the man is driving the hoop like it's 2005. Like, he does not age when he's driving. I know he loves his red wine at night. He loves his recovery nights. LeBron is still must watch. We are lucky to have him. I've never been the biggest LeBron fan on earth, but I think in the year 2024, he's still out there playing NBA playoffs for the last 20 years. We have to enjoy this because it's not forever as much as we want it to be.
I agree. I think when LeBron leaves, we're going to be looking for that next guy that's going to be the guy.
Shea Gildjus Alexander.
It might be him. I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if it's going to be whatever the... Did you see, what's his name? What is his name? The guy from France, tall guy, 7...
Victor Wembanyama?
Yeah. He got his new Nike logo, and it's so cool. It's an alien.
Yeah.
It's an alien basketball head shape. It's a great logo. I think
Didn't
one
they
of the
put
best.
it in a cornfield as part of a Nike marketing stunt? That was
so
awesome.
good.
Only
So
Nike
good.
can pull that off.
Yeah.
Spurs and Victor not on the list of top 10. They are at the beach. They are actually in Cabo as of today as their check-in date to the resort.
That's great.
In Cabo.
Hopefully we're in Cabo soon too. There might be another bachelor party. We will end up there.
Oh, wow.
Maybe.
Us and all the ex-athletes. Number one, of course, it's the Nuggets. Of course, it's his Joker. Jokic is unbelievable. When you watch him in person, it looked like he had a bad game, and he had a triple-double in the game I was at watching in person. The guy is boring, yet entertaining. He is a great passer. He's a great three-point shooter. Of course, he's great scoring down low. He's got these little hook shots he does, like he backs a guy down and turns around with one hand. He's a great rebounder, elite scorer. He is the best player in the Western Conference playoffs. His team, the Denver Nuggets, is the best team in the Western Conference. And they are going to beat the Boston Celtics in the NBA Finals.
Wow.
They will be underdogs in that one series. So if you want to make money on Jokic and the Nuggets, I need you and all of our listeners to put money on the Nuggets winning the championship before the playoffs start Tuesday night.
The only thing I saw about the NBA playoffs was two people said bet on Minnesota or Boston to win it all.
Okay.
That's all I know. I don't know much. I'm going to see. I want to get the vibe. I need to see these first games, see how everybody plays, before I start putting big money on it.
Mike, I had Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves as number 9 on my most exciting players in the West. How can that team win the finals?
A lot of weird things happen. Playoffs.
Does that get you fired up? You ready for NBA playoffs?
I'm ready for NBA playoffs. Starts tomorrow night, right? They were recording Monday, starts Tuesday, play-in starts tomorrow. Yeah. That's playoffs. I consider play-in playoffs.
It is. Even though everyone makes the playoffs. When 10 teams in each conference make it, that's more than
that's a lot
for sure.
Also, the NHL playoffs start Saturday, which I'm excited about.
Let's hear your top 10 list.
I don't have a top 10 list in front of me, but I am excited about all. It feels like right now there's actually games on TV right now that have implications for the playoffs. All the teams, our mutual friends team, the Pittsburgh Penguins, they have to win this game tonight to make it into the playoffs. I think it's going to be a fun playoffs. I haven't watched a lot of hockey. We went to a hockey game recently. I love it. I'm trying to go play hockey this week if my child doesn't come. I want to get back into it. So I'm pumped for all this. This is the best time of year when we have the playoffs, NBA, NHL. We also have the race coming up, the horse race coming up, which is always fun.
Horse race.
I don't know what it's called.
Derby. First Saturday in May. Yes, your son will be able to watch that with you.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll be able to see it, but yeah, he'll be there.
He'll place a bet. He'll place a trifecta for you. It is a great time of year. We got NFL draft coming. Should I give you a few nuggets before we head out?
Yeah, give me a few nuggets and let's do the Otani update because I like that story.
You do like a weekly Otani update.
Yeah.
I got 3 NFL draft notes for you this week. So
all
this is all setting us up next week. Hopefully you're not a father quite yet, or maybe you are already and you're back home and we can still do the mock draft that I have planned for next week's show.
Okay.
So don't cancel that show on me.
Okay.
3 notes for the NFL draft. Number 1. Caleb Williams is having a hard time on the internet. He's going to be the Chicago Bears quarterback, but the internet is coming down hard on him. Apparently, he's a founding member of Gen Z. He's allowed to show his emotions. He's allowed to dress up how he wants. He's been painting his nails. I don't necessarily have a problem with any of it, but there are people on our text chain. There are people in Chicago. There are USC people. There are NFL fans who are not ready for Caleb Williams. I almost feel like it's taking away the shine of him being the number 1 overall pick.
I think this is just the lead up to it. We might forget once he's good, kind of like Patrick Mahomes' squeaky voice. We might forget if he's actually good. Now, previous episodes, I said, I don't know if this man is going to be the biggest bust or the greatest quarterback of all time. I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be. I feel like there's so much pressure on the first round, the first overall pick. I think these guys from like 2 to 4 will surprise us even more than number 1 because we put the weight of the world on this guy's, but we're basically saying Chicago's going to the Super Bowl because this man is going to go play there. And I don't believe that at all. But I think these other guys, these guys that are like going to 2, 3, and 4, I think they might impact the teams much more than Caleb does here in Chicago.
We're going to talk a little bit about those guys. That's interesting. I think Caleb might not work out for the Bears, but that's because he didn't work out for USC. He didn't even make a bowl game with USC this year. They were a bad team, and if he's supposed to be this elite Andrew Luck type quarterback, that's the reason he might fail in Chicago. I don't think he's going to fail for all the Gen Z reasons that people are listing.
How does that work? How does it work when there's a guy that's not taking teams to bowl games or winning big games? How does it work in college that says you are the man that is going to be the best this year? You are the Heisman Trophy winner. You are doing this. Is it just because of like the teams you're facing are supposed to be good because every year college teams turn over. It's not like Alabama's number one because they're just Alabama, but it kind of seems like they're number one because they are Alabama. And that's what's confusing to me in college. It's like your team's not the same team. It should reset every year.
Mike, who has a bigger ego than NFL talent evaluators? They get like 60 to 70% of their decisions wrong, and they come back every year and they're like, we're going to nail it again. Let's run it back and draft these guys.
I don't even know if it's
like,
it might be higher. It might be like 80%.
Right?
Wrong. Yeah.
Right? Maybe 80%, especially on quarterbacks in the first round. The bust rate is so high. They just keep coming back and they have all these convictions, and like there's unanimity. Everyone agrees he's the best quarterback among all the evaluators. There's no more talk of him going 2 or 3. And so they all agree it's rare. They all agreed on Andrew Luck. They all agreed on Peyton Manning. They haven't all agreed since, and so he is the most unanimous number one pick. I think we do need to take into account all the things off the field, the way he's never been a great leader, possibly, the way he shows emotion. Can you criticize him for that? I don't know. He was a child. He's going to be 23 this year. It's time to be an adult. And
you can't cry. You can't cry to your mom in the stands if you're playing football. Professional football. So
that was in college, so maybe he's allowed at USC. 2 more QB notes for you here.
Yeah.
My second note, the Minnesota Vikings are the trigger point of the draft right now, Mike. They have 2 first-round picks, but they're not until 11 and 22. They got one from the Texans recently. They're looking to package those 2 up to move into the top 5. Who do they want? I don't know exactly, but they want a quarterback.
They need one. They need a quarterback.
I think they will move up with either the Patriots at 3, the Cardinals at 4, or the Chargers at 5. So right now we're just waiting to see who they move up with. I can't finish my mock draft until that trade is made, hopefully by next Monday. Okay.
I have a feeling it might be the Chargers. Chargers, it's like, who's there? Is it an offensive tackle or somebody? It's not anything. I mean,
they picked 5th overall, but remember, they got rid of Keenan Allen and Mike Williams in the offseason and didn't replace them. So they could use a stud receiver. There's 3 stud receivers. They might be all gone if they trade with the Vikings and they go down to 11. At 5, they might get their pick. Marvin Harrison Jr., Neighbors from LSU, Malik Neighbors, and then Rome Odunze from Washington, who I know you like because he caught passes from the lefty Michael Penix at Washington.
Right. Who does Arizona have as a wide receiver? Because I'm thinking they probably are just going to stay there and get Harrison, right? Like they're not going.
Should, but they might be the team to trade down because they could use a lot of help, right? Like
they could. Yeah, we don't know. I don't know who's. I literally could not name another.
Hollywood Brown was there last year. He's now on the Chiefs.
Yeah,
their next receiver, like
Ertz, is Ertz still there? Or did he go back to Philly?
Ertz left.
Okay, so we don't know. They need a lot of help. They really
but look out for the Vikings to make a move. I don't think necessarily the Raiders or the Broncos make a trade, but I think the Vikings do for a quarterback. And finally, a Michigan man to New England, part 2, Michael. This could be crazy, but I'm hearing rumblings that the Patriots could bypass Drake May, who everyone thinks will go number 3, and take J.J. McCarthy from Michigan to follow in Tom Brady's footsteps. Tom Brady was a Michigan man when he joined the Patriots as a rookie. They might go back to the well for another first-round pick. Not that Brady was, but they might go back. Mac Jones sure was from Alabama. That didn't work out. So they might want to draft J.J. McCarthy. They might draft Drake May from North Carolina. They might want to trade out and get a lot better because that's another roster like the Cardinals. They could definitely use some help.
I think this is a big one for Coach Mayo. Is that right? Yeah.
So would that be weird if Coach Mayo has a QB May?
No. I think this is a statement move. If they fall back, it's a statement saying like we still don't value the draft. I don't know if Robert Kraft is like actually pulling strings there, so we're gonna see what this guy does. I like when a new coach steps in. I don't know who the GM is there. Is it Kraft? Is Kraft the GM?
Thankfully, no. It's not a Dallas Cowboys situation.
Okay.
There's a man named Elliot Wolf who I've never heard of who is their GM. I think Belichick suppressed him in the basement for 15 years.
Okay, so he's dying to do something here. So this is definitely a statement draft. So we'll see what I'm curious because this is a lot of like turnover. We've never seen like there's new coaches at all these positions basically with the Chargers, with the Patriots. Not really with Arizona, but like this is big. So I'm curious to see what happens.
It's coming up. It's a week from Thursday already. So you're blending NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and the NFL draft next week, and maybe the birth of your son. That's gonna be a lot for you to keep track of.
It's a lot. We'll see. We'll see what my priorities become. Do you want to do Otani update? Because I think this is absolutely wild. I think by now everybody's heard what happened. Sure. But like this man, his interpreter, did 19,000 bets. And lost over $40 million, but in total won over $140 million. So I think he did okay.
No, he didn't finish plus.
He finished in the negative.
Because he owes $4 million, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what it seems like he owes a lot more because he stole a lot of money to make all these bets. So.
Maybe up to 19 million. They're now looking at. Maybe he stole 19 million the whole time. Are you on the translator side of this? Do you believe Otani was aware? Because I've told you before how inseparable Otani and his interpreter were. Could he have possibly kept this many wagers secret?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard because if you think about it, like we've talked about all the people that have had their money stolen before in the past, other celebrities and stars. And it happens because you just don't look at your account. You are making so much money. It literally does not matter where your money goes because you're just like, I'm just making money and I'm spending my money. Nice. I even know this guy that I kind of work with. He says he doesn't look at his money. His mom manages all his money. He does not do any. This man is almost 30 years old. And he has his mom just like, he's like, I know I make plenty of money to spend whatever I want. And he does not even look at it.
You should introduce the Otani story to your friend and tell him even when you think you know someone really, really well and you trust them 100%, they still might do sketchy shit behind your back.
That's 100% true. So, yeah, I think this is a weird situation because this man does not speak English. And it's been we were saying, we were at the bar. I'm like, Otani should learn a little bit of English.
You know what's crazy about that, Mike? I was watching the Dodgers game on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN last night, and they had this segment called Swag Watch. And they like show the guys a swag, and baseball players don't have much of it, but every once in a while they do. And in their Swag Watch, I swear to God, I'll send this clip to you. Shohei Otani in English is walking you through his cleats. They're flat. Because he likes it to be flat. It's got his logo on the back next to New Balance. He's saying all these things in perfect English. And so it's like, what are you missing over here in English if you actually know a lot of English? Because to your point, he's been playing Major League Baseball in America for like 5 years now.
Yeah, and I told you, if you were dropped in Japan or in France, after a year, you'd pick up enough to like have a small conversation.
I just can't say. I don't know. Do I care so much about getting better at my baseball swing that I'm not thinking about the other language, or am I devoting time to it? There's all these variables that we don't know.
I just want to see where it kind of falls. It seems like they finished this very quickly. They're like, the Dodgers probably paid off the FBI or whoever searched this thing and said, look, finish this up, send the guy to jail.
Way too quickly. Nothing in Department of Justice wraps up as quickly as this has wrapped up.
Literally nothing. Like, this is insane.
Ever
this is a conspiracy theory itself. So,
okay, we'll stay on this story on the Sports Hangover.
Yeah, so I don't know. I want to see what the update is. I want to see if he actually gets jail time. It seems like he's getting rehab for gambling addiction, and I don't know what else. That's all I read so far. So we'll see what happens. Good show. Playoffs are next week. My baby might be born this week or next, so there may or may not be a show maybe from the hospital. I can do one from the hospital.
Yeah, we'll mock draft from the hospital.
Yeah. That's it. Check out the sportshangover.com. All the stuff's up there. Swag's up there. Great new hoodies. If you want a hoodie, I can put them on sale. There's really expensive ones, but they're great quality. One's coming right now for me. I'm very excited.
Okay.
That's it. Good show. See ya.